Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through Yorba Media. I have Perry West, CEO, New Global Energy, on the show with us today. Perry, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing, Michael?
I'm doing great. All right, Perry, I was looking at your company. When it comes to food, you guys have got it covered. This is I can't wait to get into the Meringue, but first, let me back up a little bit, and please give us the depth and the background of the management style that you bring to the table.
We're my background is primarily technology development in small public companies over the last 30 years, essentially, and we brought that and those ideas to New Global Energy, which is basically a renewable and sustainable agriculture and aquaculture company driven by technology, and so that's been our focus. And we're trying to drive the company to focus on the acquisition of and operation of high growth assets in this industry.
Well, you certainly have the portfolio taken care of. But let's get into you for a second here, because you're an attorney, you're a practicing attorney, and you have had some milestones, some success in your history. Bring some of that out before we get into New Global Energy. Their bio, what they're into, and we've got plenty of time to walk through the different parts of the portfolio that you bring out.
Well, I've had some experience in a number of areas, technology related and natural resource related. I was CEO of Cambridge Energy, which was a small public E&P company with oil and gas production in Louisiana and Texas and internationally in Indonesia. I've been the CEO of Interactive Technologies, which was an interactive digital media company. That was a NASDAQ company that was listed on NASDAQ. Early on, a business partner and I started American Financial Network, which became the largest computerized loan origination network in the country, and one of the first. Even in the days before public access to the internet, we operated our own network, and it became a significantly large company. I think we did well over $2 billion in business. We went from an idea to listing on NASDAQ early on, and I've more recently been involved with the development of concentrated solar power technology through a company called Nanogen, which concentrated in developing a solar system not related or not using PV panels, but using concentrated solar in the small to medium size marketplace. And I've brought some of that to New Global, which we expect to apply as we go along in the different acquisition of different properties. But those are some of the areas of background that may be of some interest and certainly relate to what we're doing here.
Well, I can tell that you're a very modest person, but those are definitely some real strong attributes that you bring to the table: is continued success and being ahead of the curve. I wanted to bring that out for just a moment, but what led you to get into, because those are different fields, maybe the oil and gas is a natural resource, but now you're talking about farmland, aquaculture, shrimp, and then also this Meringue plant or tree. I guess it's actually a tree. Let's get into that, because you're in an industry sector, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm a natural resource person from way back, and you're getting into an industry sector that there is always a demand for, and it seems to me you're a little ahead of the curve on this. Let's bring New Global Energy's bio out, a little bit about what the company does, and then if we can, we'll walk through and drill down into some of the different parts of your portfolio here.
Well, as I indicated, we're basically an aquaculture and agriculture company,
Right.
Focused on areas where that we believe are sustainable and renewable, an attribute which is really an essential to the future marketplace. I think if you look at the farmland as an asset base, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how you could hit all the bases better for an investment or a desired asset than farmland. First of all, you have growing demand. The population is expected to grow 40% by the year 2050. Significant growth in demand. You have decreasing availability of farmland. Every year worldwide, we lose an amount of farmland equal to about 40% of all the farmland in California. Every year we lose that. And and those two things related add to a ever-increasing value, and the record shows it. I mean, every year since World War II, the U.S. has had, and except for 4 years, has had a steady increase in the value of farmland. And focusing on that, it's just not doesn't make sense not to become involved and lay out a business plan which focuses on farmland as part of your asset base.
Let me drill down into the farmland for a minute before we switch over to agriculture. On the farmland, are there any specific crops or types of farming that you think are going to be more valuable in the future than most people would know right now?
Well, obviously by the areas that we focused in, we believe that aquaculture, which we'll talk about in a second, is an area, and some of the things we'll talk about, you'll see why it actually becomes obvious why that's a focus. We're trying to focus on crops that are make the most efficient use of farmland and crops which we can make a difference in applying technology, where we can reduce costs through the application of things like solar energy and feeding technology and those types of things.
So in essence, what you're doing is you're through your farming, you're lowering the energy costs, you're protecting the environment, and you're creating food.
Yes, I mean that's the bottom line, and that's the product, and it's a sustainable and renewable product. You grow the food, you sell it, you go back and you grow more food, and again on that same asset base. It's where, for instance, mining and oil and gas, it's a declining asset, depreciating asset, because the depleting asset, because you take out the oil and gas or the minerals out of the ground. With farming and renewable agriculture and aquaculture, you just go back and grow an additional crop every year or every 6 months or whatever your crop cycle is.
Well, let's switch if we can. We've got about 3.5 minutes left in this segment, and talk just a little bit about the aquaculture, fish farming.
Well, just to set the stage a little bit, in the United States, every American, on the average, consumes about 16 pounds of fish and shellfish a year, with about 4.5 pounds of that being shrimp. So you have an existing and significant market. The resources here in terms of growth have been limited, so that our seafood every year is an increasing percentage is imported. We import about 84% or 85% of seafood, and that's increasing. Just 10 years ago, that was only 63%. So you can see that there's an issue in terms of the United States being able to furnish enough seafood. Again, an area where there's an increasing demand.
And aren't our oceans getting depleted? I mean, they're
not only oceans. The oceans are getting depleted, but the commercial fish stocks in the ocean and some of the ocean fisheries as well. 75% of them are depleted. or over-exploited, as has been characterized by the UN. So that availability is becoming more limited as well. So it just drives up the demand curve to the point where it's you almost can't, if you're in this industry, you can't not be in this particular product range.
Right. Let me see if I've got my statistics correct. But, in the 70s, aquaculture represented some 6% of the total seafood consumption. And today it's 40 and expected to go to 50% by 2024. So obviously you're in an area that there is definitely upside demand and declining supply until you figure out how to really move it out. So I want to applaud you on that. We're going to need to go to a break here, Perry, in just a minute, but I want to make sure the audience gets your contact information. newglobalenergy.net for the web address, right?
That's correct, yeah.
All right, and OTC bulletin board, NGEY for the symbol?
Right.
All right, perfect. And then let me make sure I've got this correct also. For anybody who wants to talk to, say, investor relations or somebody else within your company, 877-843-4081. Did I get that correct?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Perry, let's take a small break, a couple of minutes. And on the other side of this break, if we can, I want to drill down into what's going on in the shrimp industry and what's happening with the Meringue plant. It's a tree, right?
Right.
All right. Because that one, I started off the show with, that one is really surprising when I got a look at your company and you're working with that. So we'll just take a little break and we'll be right back. All right, Perry?
Okay, good.
All right, thank you. This is Perry D. West, CEO, New Global Energy. Symbol on that company is NGEY, traded on OTC bulletin board, and the web address newglobalenergy.net. We'll be right back.
Call Big D Cat's Catamarans for fun corporate events and private parties. Come celebrate with your special clients and build your team. Bring up to 85 of your clients and friends for dinner and dancing on the yacht just minutes away from your office at Pier 121 Marina on Lake Louisville. Come sailing, golfing, target shooting for a fun yet elegant evening and cruise. You have to see this beautiful 70-foot catamaran. Check out the website at bigdcats.com. And to book your event today, call 214-705-3772.
Are you keeping pace with the change in business development technology? Make the job of your sales team easier and lower cost. The world is moving to mobile apps. Digital publishing is the way of the future. For less than $90 a month, Cookie can create a professional mobile app for your company. If you don't have one now, you'll be left behind. Make marketing more powerful, more successful. Big results don't need big production and big costs anymore. Contact Cookie.com now. Cookie is the solution for you to create content live, easily, and fast to your own mobile applications. Cookie.com, KOOKE.com.
Hey Dallas, where do you go to hear the edgiest uncensored talk and cutting-edge local music? DeepElmOnAir.com. Whether you're looking for a good laugh, honest sports commentary, or DFW's best bands, DeepElmOnAir.com has got you covered. Deep Ellum on Air is located in the heart of Deep Ellum, where you can find the best local music, local businesses, and local people. This ain't your grandpa's radio. Heck, it ain't even radio. It's Deep Ellum on Air. Check them out at DeepElmOnAir.com today.
Hi, this is Bernadette with the Drift Float Spa. Are you suffering from sleep deprivation? 1 hour of floating is the equivalent of 4 hours of REM sleep. Float today for only $59. Call us at 214-36-FLOAT or visit us online at adriftfloatspa.com.
My name is Japal. 2 years ago, I received a kidney transplant. When I was 21 years old, I started dialysis. And for 7.5 years, I was a patient receiving treatments 3 times a week for 4 hours each session. And man, it was hard. When I was sick, I barely had enough strength to walk across the parking lot going to the movies with my brothers. But after my transplant, my strength and energy came back, and I was able to run around and play with my nieces and nephews, which is very important to me. Being outside and feeling that first sun on your face is just incredible. You just feel the energy and strength back in your body. It's something that's just so unexplainable, but something that you appreciate to the fullest. Kidney disease affects so many people in the African American community. My kidney transplant gave me my life back, and by becoming a donor, you can help someone get their life back as well.
You have the power to donate life. Be an organ, tissue, and eye donor. To find out how, go today to donatelifetexas.org.
Sponsored by the Texas Department of State Health Services.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. I'm joined on the show with Perry D. West, CEO, New Global Energy. Symbol on this stock is NGEY, traded on the OTC Bulletin Board. Web address is newglobalenergy.net. All right, Perry, thanks for coming back on the show. Appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here, Michael.
Thank you. All right. When we were talking about aquaculture, where we left off on the last segment, and it's definitely got some dynamics that put you in the catbird seat, if you will, no pun intended. But the shrimp market, after going through some of the information that you provide to the public, this is amazing stuff. A new disease ravaging shrimp farms around the world. Bring us up to speed on this.
Well, it's a virus that has been just pervasive. The primary shrimp raising areas are in China and Asia, and those areas over the last several years have been struck by a virus which has just ravaged really more than 40% of their crops, and it has reduced. Likewise reduce the availability when at the same time demand in this country is increasing.
Yeah, what is it? Early mortality syndrome, right?
EMS, you're right. Early mortality syndrome.
Right. Now, this has been around since 2009. Then it went to Vietnam. How is this, affecting their exportation? I mean, what percentage decline in the crop are we looking at, if that's a proper term?
You're looking overall at a 40% decline in the entire shrimp production.
Whoa.
And a shrimp production that was at about even demand. So I mean, that increases the scarcity by a factor of 40%. It drives you to that area.
All right, so that by you being in this industry, farming shrimp, I'm going to stay on this disease. Somebody asked me, because I was talking about this interview with my significant other before I came onto the show, and they were wondering, does that spread to, let's say, all exoskeleton, like crab or lobster or things of that nature, or is it just focused on shrimp?
This particular virus has been focused on shrimp, and the shrimp farms have gone to biosecurity to limit the spread. Of course, it already taken its toll by the time they've done that.
Okay, all right. So costs rising due to a 40%. I mean, is it 1-to-1? Are we looking at a different ratio for percentage cost of appreciation to purchase the shrimp relative to the decline, some 40% in the supply?
Well, you have other market factors. People change their selection. So you don't have a direct 1-to-1. I mean, you can see what's happened in the stores when you go buy shrimp in the store. The reason for that is what's happened in Asia, because the shrimp production here is only a fraction of what we use. So it's not quite a 1-to-1, but it allows us an opening for the market. And basically, we have a 100% call on our any shrimp production, just like we do for our live fish production as well.
Nice. You said live fish production. What else besides the shrimp are you producing?
Well, we produce primarily live tilapia. We do produce a couple other fish in smaller numbers, but primarily live tilapia, which serves throughout the Southern California market. One of the features to me, which just calls for focus on this industry and on New Global is this set of numbers, and that we have what we call a feed conversion ratio, which is the amount of food versus what is yielded. For instance, in sheep and cattle, you have an 8-to-1 conversion ratio, 8 pounds of food per 1 pound produced of sheep or cattle, 4-to-1 with pigs, 2-to-1 with poultry, and 1.5-to-1 with fish. So you have 1.5 pounds per pound of feed per pound of fish produced. So you can just see just by that basic number of food costs that fish is going to continue to increase and continue to dominate the market.
Are you going to keep your operations domestic, or do you have plans for international expansion?
We've been, throughout the last couple of years, developing and reviewing operations in Central America, mainly because it's been close to us, and we have some familiarity with operations down there and some industry contacts and relationships. Our focus right now, though, is in the Coachella Valley in Southern California. We believe there's other opportunities in the valley, and that will give us some ability to, save on some management and expense by dividing up our marketplace too much. But we have a lot of work to do in the valley in terms of expansion there. So we're focused there, but we're also have done work and looking at operations in Central America.
Now, if I may, let's switch over to the Meringue. I was just amazed at the statistics you've got here. First, let me back up. Tell everybody what it is, and then we can get into some of the statistics of how healthy this thing is.
Well, Meringue is basically a tree, and the products really are all parts of the tree, but it's primarily a seed pod that you harvest and eat as a bean or a seed, or you process it as seed, or you process the leaves, and they can be ground and very fine into supplements, just in a gel cap supplement. They can be made into tea or other factors, but the two pieces of it that we're focused on are the seed pods and the leaves, and it's a tree, so you just harvest those parts of the tree, and it grows back, and you harvest again the following year those parts of the tree. But as you said, it's really exciting when you look at what this food does. By the way, we do use some of this for fish food as well, supplements for our fish as well, but it's a supplement for humans, which has some of the numbers you were talking about. It has twice the protein of yogurt, 3 times the potassium of bananas, 4 times the calcium of milk, 4 times the vitamin A of carrots, 7 times the vitamin C of oranges, and 25 times the iron of spinach. It's really a superfood, and it's just really getting started. We have done some work with this in Central America, and now we've planted a significant planting in our farm in the Coachella Valley.
Now, I don't know if I've got the right plant or the right tree, but from my understanding, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but this tree grows very fast.
Yes. I mean, you expect to do at least a crop a year. It may be a year to 2 years initial growth cycle, but it's you have a tree, which is again a sustainable product in that you don't use up the tree. You just use the leaves and the seed pods grown on the tree.
Wow, that's amazing stuff. I really appreciate you taking the time to come to the show with us today. Perry, last parting takeaway message in the minute that we have remaining in the interview.
Well, there's so many things to talk about. It's hard to focus in on it, but I think that I just want to let people understand that our focus is to bring technology to this marketplace and to maximize output and to maximize, hopefully, a profit that people will see from our company. That's what we expect.
With the margins that you just mentioned, I don't see how you could not have superior results for all of the investors, let alone provide, an answer to a depleting source that's out there for everybody. My hat's off to you, Perry. I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
My pleasure. Perry D. West, CEO, New Global Energy. Web address, newglobalenergy.net. Symbol on this stock, NGEY, traded on the OTC bulletin board. And special thanks to 1-800-publicrelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be back again with more great content just for you. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for listening to today's program. The Traders Network is a production of Yorba.tv LLC and is streamed live and archived at yorbamedia.com. We invite you to listen live, join in the conversation real time, and link to the Traders Network on the Yorba Media website. All opinions in this show are that of the presenters or their guests, and not of this station's owners or management. These opinions are for educational purposes only and should not be interpreted as investment or financial advice. All investments involve risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Tune into the Traders Network every Monday through Friday afternoon here on 1190 AM.